It's been a historic day today. It concerns a news event that you will perhaps only witness once in your lifetime. And already there is controversy swirling around it. I know that you would want to know what to make of it, viewers. And I'm not going to sit on the fence. As always, I'm going to give the facts to you as one most honestly can. Viewers, the Amar Jawan Jyoti has been united with the flame shown out of the torch at the new National War Memorial. Those pictures are there on your screens. But even as the epical moment was playing out, a rancorous protest had erupted behind the scenes. More than one critic of the Modi-led NDA acerbically observed that a power-drunk, that's what they called him, Prime Minister, after toying with Kisan sentiments, was now flagrantly insulting the honor of the fallen Jawan. There's little doubt, viewers, that since 1972, the Amar Jawan Jyoti has been the most brightly flickering tribute to 3,483 brave soldiers who played a heroic part in the cataclysmic cleaving of Pakistan that indelibly scarred the nation's collective psyche. Viewers, it is also true, however, that these feverish criticisms triggered by the NDA's today decision have prevented many from looking beyond what is at best only the illusion of an insult. It's not an insult. First, the facts. The eternal flame that is shown in honor of the Amar Jawan has not been eternally extinguished, as Messrs. Rahul Gandhi and company have been telling us. It has merely been merged with the flame that burns out of a giant torch placed at the heart of the National War Memorial, and it will burn away into eternity. The Amar Jawan Jyoti was always thought to have been placed in a makeshift capacity under the arch of the India Gate. Ever since it was dedicated to the nation in 1972, the understanding was that the flame would be shifted to a more elaborate and permanent memorial. But somehow the endeavor to construct a national martyrs memorial was placed on a back burner, and the Amar Jawan Jyoti found itself in a somewhat awkward limbo as a default memorial, if you like, viewers, commemorating the sacrifice of the unknown soldier of the 1971 Bangladesh war under an archway built to celebrate the fighting spirit of Indian British Army soldiers. The real assault, viewers, mark my words, the real assault on history then isn't so much that the eternal flame is being merged with the torch at the National War Memorial, but the fact is that for decades we consigned the heroes of the 1971 war to live on in posthumous anonymity, symbolized by an unknown soldier. Frankly, India Gate, an Asiatic arch du triomphe, as a house for the Amar Jawan Jyoti, masks a great travesty. It's a painful reminder of the mercenary nature of the British Raj. Hundreds of Indian sons, for no fault of their own, viewers, were conscripted by the British. They were an expendable human resource, cannon fodder. They were compelled to die fighting someone else's unjust war fought to protect illegal colonial acquisitions, servicing British illusions of grandeur. While that doesn't take anything away from their valor, truth be told, India Gate should never have been picked as a site to pay homage to the sacrifice of those martyred in 1971. Those brave viewers died in the defense of righteous ideals, inclusiveness, liberty, and equality, the very essence of India. And tonight, viewers, let's hear from all sides of this divide. We must have an open debate when an event of such a monumental proportion is witnessed by all of us. What to make of it? What to take away from it? Let's open this up. Let me introduce to you former Army Chief General Ved Malik, Lieutenant General S.K. Dua, former Army Integrated Defence Staff, Chief of Integrated Defence Staff, someone who's closely associated with this project, at least ideologically. Maruf Raza, Group Consulting Editor of the Times Network. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and public intellectual, joins us. Let me first begin with General V.P. Malik. General Malik, many people today have said that this is an insult to the Jawan. How do you view this, sir?
No, I don't agree at all. I think what we've done today is the natural thing to do, to have one flame burning for all the soldiers who have given their lives for the nation. And I think that the politicization that has been done, it is totally uncalled for, unnecessary. The soldiers die not for politician or a political party, they die for the nation. And this is what happened whether we were post-independence or even pre-independence. It's not correct for us to dub the soldiers who died in World War I or World War II as mercenaries, or that would be totally incorrect. And that would be, in fact, an insult to the martyrs, to the soldiers who died. So therefore, I do not differentiate between the bravery of the soldiers and their sacrifice pre-independence or post-independence. The fact is that India Gate will remain. India Gate will be a reminder of our soldiers who died during World War I and World War II. And it was not a national memorial. Today we have got a national war memorial, something which we had been demanding very vociferously for many, many decades, including my tenure as an army chief or vice chief and all. So now that we have got a national war memorial, I think it is the right thing to do. And incidentally, there are no names of 71 war heroes or martyrs at India Gate. Those are etched today in the National War Memorial, not only of the 71 war, but even the previous wars since independence. So therefore, today, what stands as a National War Memorial, a beautiful monument, the right type of a monument for the soldiers who have laid their life for the nation. That is more elaborate. That is where we are now having all our ceremonial paying of homage, remembering our soldiers, people who have lost their kith and kin there, they go to pay their honor. So that is the right place for us to have a National War Memorial. And what has been done today, a purely military action of putting the flames together.
Well, this is very important, viewers. This is very important, what General Malik is saying. In fact, the delay in constructing a fitting National War Memorial is particularly jarring when one considers that in America, the Vietnam War Memorial was built in 1980, ironically made from stone panels quarried from a site near Bengaluru. And that too within a few years of the end of that conflict. What's more, the state paid their heroes individual tribute by listing the names of each of the 58,320 men and women who died. And Dr. Ranganathan, I want to ask you, why on earth should the relatives of the fallen braves of the 1971 war have to salute the memory of an unknown soldier when their loss was clearly definable to them? As a civilian, you would find that particularly odious. The state doesn't even dignify the death of a loved one, of an honorable soldier, by listing his sacrifice, his name. And that has, of course, been done at the National War Memorial. So why shouldn't that really be the site of any future commemorations?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to all my panelists. I realize immediately that I'm in a very exalted company, and the war heroes, and I'm among them. So as I reiterate that I speak as a civilian, as you said, and of course the experts are the three other esteemed panelists. But Rahul, I have said this before and I have to repeat this, that if Rahul Gandhi was the captain of the Titanic, he would have steered the ship all night long in search of an iceberg to collide with. I mean, the kind of things he outrages on, it is just mind-boggling. I mean, in this case, the ridiculousness of this comes closest to what a leftist magazine once lamented the construction of Swachh Bharat toilets because, in its opinion, it would have prevented, village women bonding at 6 a.m. in the fields. This is as ridiculous as that. I mean, does Rahul Gandhi seriously believe that the head of a nationalist party that almost venerates the Jawans to an exceeding length would be so petty as to extinguish an Amar Jawan Jyoti in full view of 1.3 billion people? Does he honestly believe that Narendra Modi would do that? Now let me harp on two issues as a common civilian. Number one, General Dua and General Malik and Mr. Raza has, Major Raza has already, throughout the day harped on the sheer illogic of the outrage. But let me reiterate that the fact of the matter is that Amar Jawan Jyoti came into being only in 1971. The National War Memorial has etched the names of all our martyrs right from World War I to 1948 to 62 to 65 to 71 to Kargil and so on and so forth. So it is the logical and rational and rightful home of the eternal flame. Secondly, as General Malik just said, rightly so, that if you want to remember the martyrs of 1971, their names, as the families would lovingly want to do, the logical place for that and the veneration of our war heroes would be National War Memorial. So it is the logical home of that. Plus, the flames have been merged. They have not been extinguished. So Rahul Gandhi has been wrong on all counts. Now, very briefly, Rahul, just to come back to, and there is no political spokesperson of Congress party, but I need to, so otherwise I would have asked these three questions to him or her. But here I leave it to your viewers to ponder over these three questions. Number one, why did it take till 2019, when decades had gone into the planning of the National War Memorial? Why did it take till 2019 and Modi to come for the National War Memorial to be made? Number two, let me couple it with Subhash Chandra Bose's statue that is going to now adorn the canopy at India Gate. Why did it take till 1965 for King George V's statue to be removed? From 1947 to 1965, it was under that very canopy, and we had gained independence. Why did it take till 1965, the entire term of Jawaharlal Nehru? King George V was actually glancing over all the Republic Day parades. What can be more shameful than that? And finally, why did it take till 2019 for INA veterans, Indian National Army veterans, to be allowed to participate in the Republic Day parade? These are the three questions which Rahul Gandhi and all his followers should be answering tonight.
I think he's worked himself into such the margins of Indian polity that I don't even know if I take some of his remarks seriously anymore. But that, of course, is for the viewers to judge. Viewers are more than welcome to take on board the barbs that are sallied forth by Rahul Gandhi. You might take them seriously. In this particular context, viewers, I think that he was completely off the ball. I want to bring in Maruf Raza. Forget the politics for the moment. Let's focus on the optics, the symbolism. Actually, forget the optics also. Maruf Raza, let's focus for a few moments on the symbolism. I heard you in the morning. You were not somebody who enthusiastically welcomed this. Why, Maruf, if I'm right?
Well, Rahul, as you have said, I've been on air since about 9 a.m. this morning, on and off. And, my remarks must be understood in the entirety. I have repeatedly said that the new War Memorial Complex, which I visited at least twice, is beautifully laid out and is a grand structure and a fitting tribute to all our heroes. But the new War Memorial Complex is about our fallen soldiers after independence. Those who fought and died as part of the Indian Army, though at that time they were under the British leadership. They fought alongside their Indian colleagues, and they fought not for the empire per se, but they fought for their regiment, their naam, nishan, their biradri, and everything there. And we cannot dismiss their deeds by saying that the India Gate was a British monument. It was a British monument to Indian soldiers, just as most of the buildings on Raisina Hill, from where the government of India functions, are also British monuments. I mean, up to which point will we draw the line? All I was saying is that the flame that burns under India Gate, and Rahul Gandhi's probably motivation for that was, it was initiated at the time of his grandmother Indira Gandhi, so he was getting sentimental about that. But we must also understand the historical context, that his grandfather, his great-grandfather, Panditji, did not see it important to honor the deeds of the Indian soldiers, whether through museums, through memorials, through various other arrangements which had occurred during the times of the Raj, because he felt that it gave a larger-than-life persona to the Indian armed forces, which would then threaten his own political, political sway because of what was happening in our neighborhood. So, therefore, even some years ago, when we had a fabulous exhibition of the 100 years of World War I, it was shown in Manekshaw centers. I mentioned it to 2 army chiefs at least. I said, sir, please have it remaining in Delhi so that schools and others can also go and view that and gain some insight into the gallantry of our people. It was shifted to Mao to convert the converted. It's a home of the military, unhi ko dikhate raho. That is the kind of attitude that had been there in politicians and even members of the civilian elite. So to keep military deeds out of context because it did not kind of gel well with our democratic modern India history. I'm sorry. I think every man who died there, whose name is mentioned as 80,000 plus in World War I, no names are there as far as I know, and General Dua can correct me, of World War II gallantry. And as Srinath Raghavan has written in a book, it was India's war. The largest contributing element in World War II was the Indian army and the Indian soldier. Fine, they fought for a British agenda, but you cannot be selective about history. That won't count and something else will count. And I can give you any number of examples of the current government stating chapters from history and claiming that was Indian territory, we must go and get it. Everything from history is the baggage you carry. How you use it to your advantage is your skill. I was only saying that the flame under India Gate, let it be there. Since India Gate also honors the memory of the fallen Indian soldier, whether he was born before 47, he was Indian. And if it honors his memory, make it part of the larger complex. The war memorial is only 100, 120 yards from India Gate. Some people argue that it takes manpower to keep the India Gate memorial going. Come on. You have more manpower in the house of every army chief and service chief and every general officer in Delhi area than you have on India Gate. You can't provide that. It's a shame. And some people argue that it consumes too many gas cylinders worth of energy. I mean, you want to be a great power, you have to honor your braves, whether of post-independence or pre-independence. That was my only point of departure. It was not at any point to show disrespect to the grand war memorial that has been made. And General Malik and I have been on this show before. I have great respect for him. And I have also great respect for General Dua. And I think by and large, we were all agreed of it. The point of departure started when it was brought out that the flame under India Gate would be extinguished. I don't think so. You make a new temple, you don't do away with the old temple. That has its own resonance. The new temple has its own resonance. You cannot shift your allegiance to every new building that comes up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that point has been made by Maruf Raza in no uncertain terms. Let me bring in General Dua. General Dua, now I know that you have had some sort of a role to play by the way of providing inputs. And I just want to ask you, because many people have said that this merging of flames is born out of the power drunk aspirations or hubris, rather, of the Prime Minister, who wants to redefine Indian history in the vision of the BJP's own so-called, as it has been said, twisted ideology. That's what has been said. Is that the motivation? Is that why the flame may go out under the India Gate? Is that the reason? Or is it more thought out? And if so, what is it?
Thank you, Rahul. Good evening to all fellow panelists. I have a lot of respect for each one of them individually, and I don't know them very well. Let me just state my credentials so you understand. I will only state facts. I was, as Chief of IDS, I steered the construction of this new, the National War Memorial right from design selection to its construction stage. And I know what went into making of it. Now, we all know that how the Amar Jawan Jyoti came into being there in 1972 under the India Gate as an ad hoc arrangement, continued for half a century. But today, when we have a National War Memorial, it was decided that henceforth, this National War Memorial will be the designated place where everyone will officially pay homage to the fallen soldiers, fallen Indian bravehearts, past, present, or future. That means an Indian braveheart, even if it was 2 centuries ago, the homage will be paid at the National War Memorial. It is only for the purposes of, enshrining the names. It was decided that we need to take a baseline. Otherwise, we will not know where to stop. The baseline was 1947, that from 1947, independent India onwards, we will enshrine the name of each of those heroes who made the supreme sacrifice for the country. And that's what, there is a stone for each name in the National War Memorial. The flame, eternal flame burns bright at the National War Memorial, and it has burned for nearly 5 decades, in the Amar Jawan Jyoti at the India Gate as well. Why did the merging of flame take place? The merging of the flame, it is a sentiment, it is symbolic. When the flame, Olympic flame, travels from Athens to the city of where Olympics are being conducted, it also connects a few dots as per the itinerary. But the fact is, it is a sentiment that is being carried. Now, as General Malik also brought out, where you have the 1971 war heroes being paid homage to was at the India Gate, Amar Jawan Jyoti. But even the 1971 the ceremonial days, we have actually paid homage now at the National War Memorial for the past 3 years. Therefore, in fitness of things, it is a military ceremony that was carried out of merging the flames over here, so that in all fairness, everyone, whether it is the kin of the fallen heroes or dignitaries or leaders or the common public, pays homage to the war heroes at one designated place. And this is going to be that designated place. The rifle and the helmet as a symbol of the unknown soldier is not going away. But why should we hold on to the unknown soldier when each and every hero's name is written at the National War Memorial? That was the sentiment why it has been merged at the National War Memorial. And in my view, I think it is in fitness of, in a military ceremony, it is in fitness of things that we have a designated war memorial. And now that we have a National War Memorial, we should be proud of it and consolidate these things over there. There is no disrespect, the last sentence, no disrespect either meant or intended or being executed to the war memorial at India Gate, which is for First World War heroes, also to the fallen soldier, the symbol of the rifle and inverted rifle and a helmet at the India Gate. Thank you, Rahul.
So General Dua, even when someone like Maruf says, why extinguish the flame at the Amar Jawan Jyoti, what do you have to say about that?
Look, the flame at Amar Jawan Jyoti was the designated national place, designated place at national level to pay homage. Even a head of another country came and he paid homage at that place to the fallen soldiers. Today, we have designated another place, and rightly so, because that is the National War Memorial. Therefore, to be able to accord it that kind of respect at a place which is just a couple of 100 meters away would not be in fitness of things in a military ceremonial way. Otherwise, flames like this do exist at Dras, at many other places where war memorials exist. But we have to understand that at the national level, there has to be one place where ceremonially homage is paid to the fallen soldiers.
In other words, India Gate stands, it retains its symbolism,
Yes.
Even though I personally believe that India Gate was a tribute to the valor of some of our bravest who were unfortunately conscripted by a mercenarian British outlook that wanted to defend its own imperial viewers' possessions across the globe and forced some of our bravest to fight someone else's war that was enriching someone else entirely. And this small measure of making the India Gate as a tribute is not enough, actually. The British owe us millions and millions and millions in reparations for all the exploitation that has happened. And to say that, oh, you know, we also had, sorry, Maruf, to say that, you know, they built the secretariat, etc. They built it, let me tell you, Maruf, to actually project their own power. It was called Rajpath. And the parliament is not seen if you look down from the Viceregal Lodge. The parliament is tucked away behind the secretarial buildings. So we must never forget where they actually intended India's democracy to be. And they obviously had a complete idea that they were going to continue in perpetuity to guide our democracy, to guide our thinking, our national agency and attitude. So I'm sorry, I disagree with you there a little bit, but you know, we can all agree to disagree. We're all mature enough to have a conversation. Maruf, yes, very quickly, and then Dr. Ranganathan and I then want to relieve General Malik and General Dua. I know that they're here for a finite time. Yes. Yes,
Okay,
and General
Rahul,
Malik also wants to come in. Yes, so let's actually...
Rahul,
yeah, yes, very quickly, Maruf. Go ahead. Yes,
Rahul,
go ahead.
very quickly, I'll just take 2 minutes.
Go ahead, please.
The first is your
Yes.
observations about how the British saw Rajpath and everything. I don't dispute that. They had a vision about the empire, and I think Churchill included, many of them never wanted to give India independence. It's another matter, for a variety of reasons, it happened. I'll not get into that. The second aspect is that after World War II, and we lost a fairly large number of Indians fighting in World War II. Some would argue they were coaxed into battle. Some would say you never had a shortage of Indians volunteering to join in the profession of arms. And therefore, the Indian Army has always, at least after independence, always been one of the world's largest independent volunteer army. So, the profession of arms comes naturally to a lot of people in India, generation after generation. The central point
but
is
no one is
that there is
demolishing the India
no
Gate. It stands. It stands.
Raju, Rahul, central point is there is no memorial to the gallant soldiers who fell in World War II, and there were thousands of them who died then also. And what I'm basically arguing,
sure enough. I mean,
is
that for today's purposes is not. We can have that debate tomorrow and day after. Yeah.
Swap one for the other. All I'm saying is honor what exists and build up on it. History is built brick after brick. History is not built by eliminating the last chapter and writing.
No one is dismantling the India Gate. no one is pulling out the bricks commemorating the fallen of the Anglo-Afghan War or World War I, you know, and that the World War I extended across many theaters. So no one is doing that. That still stands. Nonetheless, let me quickly bring in General Malik, who's raised his hand before we let him go, and Dr. Ranganathan and the other panelists. Yes, General Malik, please go ahead.
Thank you, Rahul. I have mentioned earlier that for decades, we have been demanding a national war memorial. I can write a book about the number of instances that we had discussion with the politician, and they were suggesting all the places except India Gate. And we kept on insisting that this is the right place. And let me narrate to you a story. It was 2014. There was a big congregation in Bombay where they were to honor Lata Mangeshkar on the 50th anniversary of her song, Mere Watan Ke Logo. I just happened to be sitting next to then candidate, Prime Ministerial candidate, Mr. Narendra Modi. And that time, since it was a function for honoring all the soldiers, I mentioned to him, I said, look, there is a great demand for a national memorial. Can you please make a public statement on that you will construct it? And I'm glad that he took that idea. And that is recorded today, that on that day he mentioned and he said that I have been told that we need a memorial and I will have it constructed. I'm not giving much credit to this Prime Minister. I mean, he did it. But the fact is that for decades we've been wanting a national war memorial. And now that we have got it, it is incorrect for the politicians to get involved and try and, create a controversy where it doesn't.
I think that's a very perfectly rational point to make. Thank you, General Malik. Thank you, General Dua. Thank you very much for joining us and taking the time out. Thank you, Maruf Raza, for your contribution to the debate. Let's go back and open this up. Shahzad Poonawalla also joined us. Dr. Ranganathan wants to make a point. Yes, Colonel Harrison also joins. Yes. Go ahead. Dr. Ranganathan, go ahead.
And no, it's been a wonderful debate. And as a civilian, as a common man, it's been wonderful to hear all the views. And I must say that even though Grenadier Officer Raza's views are at variance with mine, I'm very happy to accept that I think he is more in the right than I am. And I give you two reasons for that. Number one, he has a point when he says that when you remove the flame or merge the flame from Amar Jawan Jyoti, that is also consecrating and honoring the World War I martyrs, there would be no flame there. Plus, it is also a fact which is quite shocking to me that we have not consecrated or honored our World War II martyrs. So, General Dua is no longer with us, unfortunately, but I was going to suggest as a civilian that one solution to come out of this, which I may suggest, is because General Dua was involved in the design of the National War Memorial, to actually inscribe the names of every World War I and World War II martyrs in the National War Memorial. And then nobody can have any objection to one eternal flame being just at the National War Memorial. That was the suggestion that I wanted to make.
Sure. Fair enough. At this moment, of course, that remains an aspiration, which we must, viewers, if we really believe in honoring our braves, we must fulfill. Now, I want to bring in Shahzad Poonawalla, General Bakshi. Shahzad Poonawalla, the criticism is, why put out the fire under the arch of the India Gate? Fine, merge the fire with the one at the torch at the National War Memorial, but why douse this? Maruf Raza raised that point. Go ahead, please.
Rahul, first of all, I think it's been adequately cleared that we are not dousing or extinguishing any flame, but we are only merging it with the flame at National War Memorial, which truly commemorates the memory of all the fallen braves of India, right from 1947, 62, 65, 71, 99, IPKF, including Galwan. But Rahul, here's a larger philosophical point. When you keep saying the flame is eternal, what does the flame mean? A fire or a sentiment? And if it is not just a fire, if it is the sentiment can never be extinguished by any force of nature, howsoever high it may be. So therefore, the sentiment continues to prevail. But let me tell you, Rahul, this particular Amar Jawan Jyoti that is being made an issue out of came up only in 71. Does that mean that Mr. Nehru did not honor the fallen braves of 47 war, of 62 war, of 65 war? I would like to take Anand Ranganathan's question forward, that till 1968 we had that horrible King George V looking over our Republic Day parades. Does that mean that we were actually undermining the braves and the manobal of our braves by having King George V look over the Republic Day parade ceremony? So let us stop making these Rahul Gandhi type childish arguments, which I think I will expect from at least one person on this panel, because the remaining I feel are all educated and erudite, intelligent people. But I know there'll be one at least who will make that argument. But having said that, let me just finally say this. Look, what is being done is only this. There is the India Gate, which honors all our braves, and I think they are braves even if they fought for somebody else's war, because they were our braves. The World War II and all the pre-independence heroes are being in a sense commemorated. But yes, when you have a National Guard of Honor, you have only one national memorial. You can't have two memorials. You may have other Lincoln memorials, but there'll just be one Lincoln memorial in Washington. And therefore that pride, that place of pride and resting, and where I can go and see my 71 fallen soldiers. Why should I not be able to see the names of my 71 soldiers? Why should one last point. Why should Indira Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi's father and Nehru have a permanent memorial, but my soldiers should be in a temporary structure for 50 years? That is the last question I want to raise.
Okay, that's a rhetorical political question. I want to first of all not engage the other side politically right now. So I'm going to bring in General Bakshi. I want to bring in Colonel RSN and General Doon. Let me come out to you, General Bakshi. Where do you stand on this, sir?
Look, I wasn't there for the previous discussion, but it merits recounting that in 1971 we had won a grand victory, perhaps one of the greatest in the last 2000 years as a military historian. Let me be as candid. So the powers that be then decided to have a big celebration, and the armed forces said, look, we have been asking for decades for a national war memorial, right? And instead of a national war memorial, and in view of the paucity of time, what we got was a makeshift arrangement. Please, let's get that quite right. What we got was a makeshift arrangement beneath the pre-existing war memorial, a copy of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, right? Which covered the names of the Indian soldiers who had taken part in the Afghan war. It covered the names of some of our braves who had died in France, in Flanders and other places, and some British officers and men, right? By no stretch of the imagination could it be ever taken as our war memorial. Apropos the sentimental attachment that is being ascribed to the 71 war victory and the India Gate, India Gate has not one name of the 71 war inscribed on it. 2015, as General Malik just recounted, 2015 this case was taken up, and in 2019 we got the National War Memorial. Rahul, let me be candid. Any self-respecting country has a National War Memorial in the national capital, right? I have been to Russia, I have been to Moscow, and we were made to go. We were an official delegation. We were asked to go and pay our respects there, right? And every Russian couple that gets married comes there for a photo op, that they have visited the National War Memorial, and the National War Museum is just adjacent, right? This is something that any self-respecting nation has. We got it only in 2019. Now that we have it, it is incumbent that all national ceremonials that deal with paying a tribute to our martyrs have to be conducted there. So that makeshift, war memorial built under a foreign war monument, a replica of the Arc de Triomphe, if you please, is now no longer valid. You can't, quite obviously, you have to shift the venue to the National War Memorial for all national, events.
Commemorations.
Now the point
Yes.
is
absolutely,
that,
I understand that. Yes.
the commemorations, but the point that I was trying to make is we have several other war memorials. We have them in each regimental center. We have them at the places where the battles took place, like Kargil, like Rezangla, etc., to name just two of the famous ones. So they continue to exist, and they have a special purpose, which is not taken away because a national war memorial has been constructed. So personally, on a very personal level, you see, the National War Memorial is not accessible to all and sundry. You have to keep a certain gravitas, and before people go there, they have to take permissions and clearances. The India Gate is open to all and sundry. So keep the flame going. I don't see any major problem in that flame getting diluted in the National War Memorial if this flame continues. To that limited extent, I agree with Maruf Raza. But all this bravado about the equivalence of our war, our soldiers who died prior to independence and post-independence, there I definitely do not agree. When you serve a foreign power, you are a mercenary, and a mercenary cannot be equated with a soldier laying down his life for his own country. Let's get that quite right. Apropos the issue that those on the Second World War, 80,000 casualties in World War I and about 28,000 casualties in World War II. How about 26,000 INA soldiers who laid down their lives to free this country? You have to make this distinction. Are you fighting for your own motherland, or are you a mercenary? And to equate a mercenary service, yes, I know it was Indians who died, and we respect them for being Indians. But they fought for a foreign power, a ruling power, which, by the way, let me remind people who are, they are panda huggers about China, the British huggers. The British created 6 famines in India, in the last one of which 3.5 million Indians died in Bengal in 1943. All right? Juxtapose these two facts, that those soldiers are equivalent to those soldiers who died for a free India. I do not buy that argument. I do not buy that false equivalence. It seems to suggest we were better off with the British.
Let me tell you.
We were not, sir.
General Saab, let me tell you, someone has heard you, and I know that you have been campaigning for this, and you lead this charge every year of the INA Light Brigade, so to speak.